Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, I'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 8 of the anime series Galilei Donna. And of course, we're following the sisters Ferrari all the way out to Japan, finally, that place they all really wanted to go. And rather than actually going straight for the next in the line of sketches, they detour and actually visit their grandfather. And I loved this entire sequence because, of course, they're helping him and they're finding out a little bit more about Japan. They're finding out a little bit more about their father. And I love the revelations. That's one of those things where it's very tempting to want to learn about your parents or your grandparents, your family, what they were like before you were born and that kind of stuff. And it's often surprising, you don't quite expect what you're going to find. And I love that is exactly the situation here. He was like a metal singer or something like that, or a punk rocker. He was in the military, and he kind of became sort of hippie-ish by the end. But what was really interesting was that he does have, even though he proclaimed to not, in an earlier episode when we saw him last, to not have this great ability of working with technical apparatus and stuff like that, we do see that he actually did have some aspirations toward those lines. He was trying to build this energy converter, which is what basically Hozuki finishes the job for their grandfather, and ends up giving him a means by which to power his house, keep the heat on during the winter and everything like that, at a very low cost, that kind of thing, because of course he can't afford it with how much the energy production prices are going through the roof with companies like Adney Moon and everything like that. So it was very sweet. This whole episode had a sweetness to it, but I almost have to say it was bittersweet because of course the entire time, we're really dealing with Anna Hendrix's realization after her call to Roberto Materazzi that when this is all said and done, he's going to off these girls. He's just going to kill them and not even have a second thought about it. And this is what she's really needed to confront this entire time. And I'm glad she finally has. It was very interesting to me, of course, when we have bath time with the girls, for them to refer to her as almost being like family, as their eldest sister. And, of course, she starts to break down because right there she's confronting the reality of the situation. She loves these girls as friends, maybe as family as well. And she doesn't seem to have had a family of her own from what we know of her past, where she's talked about such things in previous episodes. So that means a lot to her. She really, that probably puts her over the top emotionally. And yet she has to confront this cruel reality that is just waiting around the next corner when they find the final sketch, that Roberto is going to murder them. So the question is, what exactly is going to happen? She had their grandfather ask her blatantly, please look out for my granddaughters. Please continue to. And now that she's sort of one of the family, she's been taken under the girl's wings. Well, what does that spell out for the next chapter of this story? Is she going to get in between them and Roberto? Will she maybe lose her life in trying to protect theirs? It remains to be seen, and I just can't wait to see where the story goes. I've been loving this series since episode 1. The depth of these characters, the sort of relationships between them. I love that we had in this episode, Kazuki was really more down to earth than we've seen her before, as far as helping to cook the food and doing very well at that, being more family-oriented in mind, being willing to go and visit the grandfather and everything. She was looking as much forward to it as the other girls, even though she tried to keep it on the down low a little bit, but they noticed it. And they've become more a family unit because of this stopover. So it is going to be tragic to see what their future beholds if it's a dark one, especially with what we know of their parents. Their father is seemingly on the run somewhere. We haven't seen him since he disappeared. And the mother, unfortunately, still probably has amnesia and is being held in the crux of Adney Moon's hands. And then there's this whole aspect of this guy from the Ganymede Sky Pirate crew really getting up close and personal, if you will, with Hazuki, and her seeming to reciprocate, or at least find it funny, and she's not so much feeling afraid, in front of him anymore and everything like that. And I think it was a turning point for her character in the hospital episode when he essentially tries to go up against Roberto Materazzi, who is just unleashing havoc. So I think in a sense here we have this sort of character who's meant to be a blackguard, at least that's what they want us to believe at first, And in actuality, he's an honorable, very down-to-earth kind of guy. Calls her Bambina. He's head over heels for her, trying to seem cool in front of her, and she just finds that hilarious. We have them both kind of being smitten with each other, so it's going to be interesting to see where that dynamic goes, if she actually will decide once this journey is over, if it doesn't end in a dark fashion, she might go with him and have adventures and stuff like that. Yeah, as I say, I can't wait to see how this series wraps up in the next few episodes. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below. If you're able to post what you thought of this particular episode, if you've seen it, where you think the story will be going from this point on, and otherwise, that'll be it from me on this. I hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you later. Peace.